Hi friends, fans, foodies, and followers. Thanks for tuning in. And this is What's Cooking with Chef Kai. Tonight we're going to do something near and dear to my heart, Chicken Fettuccine Alfredo. It's the first dish I learned working in restaurant kitchens years ago. Let's go through the ingredients real quick, like butter, salted, garlic, 5 or 6 cloves, salt and pepper, always have it on hand, heavy whipping cream, shredded Parmesan cheese, pasta cooked, about a half a package, 8 ounces, cooked and then rinsed and cooled. Trust me, it'll finish its cooking in the process. Chicken breasts, a little parsley for garnish, a little bit of white wine. Any wine will work really, the drier the better, and we can get started on prep now. First thing, we're gonna pop and chop some garlic cloves. You can slice them real thin, what I call the Goodfellas method, right? Because it liquefies in the sauce. But all we're really gonna do is just smash them a little bit and then just give them a chop. It doesn't have to be micro chopped. It doesn't have to be anything too fine. We're gonna be enrobing it in a nice creamy sauce, and that's all we really care about. So a rough chop on this garlic, and set aside the mise en place. Things done beforehand. The more prepared you are, the better, and the faster your dish will go together. Garlic, done. Next, a little bit of parsley. This is gonna come in dead last. Best way to do any herb is bunch it together and kind of roll it up. We're cooking for 2 in this instance, so we're not gonna need very much. Now, if you're doing this for more people, it of course takes more time, and you'd wanna do more ingredients. So, it doesn't, again, have to be a microscopic chop. You're gonna bruise the parsley if your knife isn't sharp enough, so make sure that you've got a nice sharp blade. It makes it safer for your use. Okay, and then the last little bit of this dish, again, very few ingredients. We're gonna throw a food safety board up here, something that we can run through the dishwasher and get super clean. Chicken breasts. So we're gonna take these bad boys. Now, if you wanna cut it fine, by all means, dice it up really fine. You could even use ground chicken in this dish if you want. It's not gonna have the same textural profile that it would if you do chunky chicken. You can leave whole breasts in there if you want. Again, it's just gonna take a while longer to cook. So I go in the middle. I try and make them about bite-sized. That way we can season them up, sear them real quick. They finish in the sauce right alongside the noodles. It makes for a great chew when you're eating fettuccine Alfredo. So in preparation for this, we're gonna put a little seasoning on this chicken. So because we don't necessarily wanna do it right in the pan. So salt and pepper like you mean it, like you believe in it. Packs a lot of flavor in it, and that's really all you're gonna need. Mix it up to kind of coat them, so when we're searing in the pan, it crusts up nice and kind of holds up against all the other stuff we're gonna have going in there. All right, guys, that's about all the preparation needed for fettuccine Alfredo. It goes together quick. I mean, that's the short list on ingredients. There's a ton of stuff you can add into it if you wanna change it up, and I'll tell you when we're cooking it at what point you do that. But you could add sun-dried tomato pesto. You could add regular basil pesto. You could add toasted hazelnuts. You can add a lot of stuff to that Alfredo base and come up with some really awesome dishes on your own. So I want to encourage that in everybody. By all means, if you can get Alfredo down, you can make anything out of it. Let's get cooking, and I'm going to go turn the heat on and we'll roll it out. So I forgot to mention, we're going to need garnish for that fettuccine Alfredo. So took the liberty of making a little bit of garlic bread. My garlic bread recipe is super simple. Take a baguette, slice it up, add some parsley, add some garlic, to some butter. You're good. Put it on a low heat, set it aside, let it keep cooking. Don't forget about it, pay a little bit of attention to it. So this pan's preheating over a medium heat. We've got just a non-stick skillet. I find that they work best, especially with the shape of it, if you're gonna toss the pan. If you can't toss it, use a fire-safe spatula. Rubber spatula works great. I'll probably use it just the same. It's good to go around the edge, fold stuff in. That's how I learned how to do it before I learned how to toss a pan. We'll get started with a little bit of butter first. By a little, I mean about 2 or 3 tablespoons. We want to get that melting. We don't want it to burn, so we want to get it so just to the melting point and preheated just enough to cook this chicken. If you burn the butter, dump it out and start over. You want to get it so it's going to cook the chicken without burning the chicken and burning everything else that goes into the pan. Right before it starts to burn. It's really going to help the color and the caramelization on this chicken breast. Okay, let's add the chicken in. Try and get all the pieces separated, moved around so they get equal caramelization on everything. Caramelization is everything when it comes to a dish like this. It's where all your flavor is going to come from on your chicken. Now, granted, it's going to be wrapped up in a whole bunch of reduced heavy cream and butter and garlic, but hey, I'm not going to rely on that solely for flavor. Once this starts to brown a little bit in the pan, you'll see the butter starting to get hot, and there's just a little bit of color developing on our chicken. You don't want to take it much further than that. Just get it flipped over. Get it so it's sealing all the juices inside. Don't forget to keep a watchful eye on your garlic bread. Obviously, you don't want to burn that up. We're going to get all these bits and pieces flipped over, and then we're going to add our garlic in next. So I'd say that the browning that's developing from the butter might be a little high, but we're going to cool that down with a shot of wine here in just a second. Okay, let's add our garlic in next. And we're going to slow down that cooking process by adding just a little bit of wine. Don't worry about flames. Perfectly normal. Okay, now we're going to add our heavy cream. Now, this is about 16 ounces. I'm not going to quite put it all in at once. Maybe about 12-ish ounces and get it started. Swirl it around in the pan a little bit. The cream is really starting to come up fast. This is really when you want to be mindful of your heat. If you got to turn it down a little bit, that's fine. We're looking for a longer reduction. We're not looking for a quick reduction on this. Unless you want to redecorate your kitchen, keep your eye on this. Don't walk away from this. You can see that the size of the bubbles in the pan, I'm just shaking it around to kind of knock some of the air out of the bubbles. The size of the bubbles of the pan really grew. The volume of that grew, but that's because of the air bubbles within it. Now that I've turned down the heat a little bit, it's just sitting there simmering. That chicken is finishing in that sauce. It's adding to the flavor and the quality of the sauce. So now's a great time to add our cooked pasta, right? So I told you not to cook it all the way, right? Just cook it part way through. And that's because it's going to do a lot of its finishing in this cream. And also the starches remaining in the pasta will help thicken the dish just a little bit and make for a really good eat. So I'm not afraid to turn the heat back up just a little bit at this point. Really get it working. I've got some cream in reserve. I don't want to add cheese quite yet. I want to make sure that the cream's done what it needs to. So I'm going to add some more cream and get that reducing. And that's a full 16 ounces of cream, so 2 cups of cream. Start coming up through that, and that's a really good sign for the next step. I'm going to shut the garlic bread off now. Again, it's just a garnish. It's optional. If you also need another option, make a Caesar salad to go with it. You can hit it out of the park with that. There we go. So the sauce slowly works its way out of the pasta with every flip, and that's good. We're going to flatten this out a little bit, and at this point is when we want to add our cheese. It's bubbling around the outside. It's pretty creamy already. Cheese is going to help tighten that up. Now, we're not going to add all of this cheese at once. We want to do layers and layers of cheese. So a little bit, fold it over a couple times. You can use the spatula if you want. Do another little bit. You're kind of trying to layer the cheese within the pasta, and it's all wrapped up in that Alfredo sauce. Woo. Don't be afraid to move it around with your tongs. Just be kind of ginger when you do it. Gingerly do it. All right, I'm going to drop the temp one more time here just to let it go nice and slow and really melt that Parmesan cheese. Now at this point, if you want to color it up, by all means do it. I like to add a little parsley right around this time, and then I add some on the top at the end of the dish. So sprinkle some parsley in there. Just give it a little different color from the chicken and the cheese. Yeah, that's looking really good. I don't want to take it past there. I'm going to kill the heat, and we are going to go to the plate. Like I said, this is 2 good-sized portions for 2 healthy eaters. So we're going to divide the pasta. Try and keep the chicken in the pan for now. That way we can put it on top so you can really see the delicious Nugzo chicken in there. So we're almost there. Again, the first dish I ever learned how to make in a restaurant kitchen, 13 years old, as a dishwasher, doing a little prep work in the back. Got really busy on like a Wednesday night. And chef hollered at me and said, "Hey, Kai, you want to learn something?" And I said, "Sure." And I ended up making this dish for the first time, and then he told me he needed about a half a dozen of them. So let's clean up our plate a little bit. A little bit of Parmesan cheese, just to kind of finish it off. Salty, cheesy note on top. The last little bit of the parsley in there. Again, just give it a little contrasting color. Golden garlic bread tucked in here. Yeah. Let's give it a taste, guys. I've made it a few thousand times in different variations over the years, so let's take a look here. That's banging. Hey, I highly recommend that you do this dish. Thanks for tuning in and playing along, guys. It's been really fun. Follow us on the YouTube channel if you aren't already. Hit us up on social media at Chef Kai, Chef_Kai_Loop, and Chef Kai on Facebook. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great night. Chef Kai signing off.